Caoimhe O'Neill is a senior football writer with Liverpool Echo, and she joins us now. Good morning, Caoimhe.
Good morning.
What have the last few weeks been like in Liverpool, first off?
Crazy would be the way I'd describe it as. Obviously, Liverpool have waited 30 years for this as a team and as a city. So obviously the celebrations have been somewhat muted. A lot of house parties obviously going on across Merseyside. I think it's been almost difficult because fans haven't been able to sort of, congregate with what's happening in the world. But obviously we know that's so important with what's happening, and so it has been really this feeling of excitement. But again, Liverpool fans can't wait, as Jurgen Klopp said, to all come together for hopefully a parade in the future.
Yeah, it does feel different to literally any other previous Premier League title, but at the same time, there is the human tendency to compare previous teams with current teams, and that comparison is always going to be there. With Liverpool, it was the case with the Arsenal team until Watford came along and beat them. It is the case with every team who've won the Premier League now. If Liverpool go on and get this points tally, as much as Jurgen Klopp says records don't matter, it kind of does. I think in the wake of what's happened this season, being the team who've got the highest ever tally of Premier League points would be an incredible feat.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think with Liverpool currently, battling Man City for the past couple of seasons, I think, it's important that they get that record just to sort of, there's nothing else to win now. They've won the Premier League, they won the Champions League last year, the Club World Cup, the champions of Europe, the world, and now England after such a long wait. I think, the record is in sight, and Liverpool will definitely want to chase that down just to sort of, have that over Man City going into next season, which, is now none of us really know what sort of season we're going to. Liverpool fans think, can they walk it again? And obviously City will be hoping to get back into it. You're seeing teams like Chelsea, United, their sort of resurgence, and, it's going to be very interesting going forward. But right now, Liverpool have got 4 games left to play, and they want to get over that 100 points barrier. So, it's definitely something that they'll be working hard for. The performances in recent weeks since the lockdown haven't been great. Obviously, it started with the draw with Everton, and then Crystal Palace game was really good. Liverpool just, I think that was their title-winning match. Obviously, the next night, City got beaten. That won them the league. But I think that performance was really, really cool from Liverpool. It was brilliant. And then again, they've still won, but they haven't necessarily performed in the way they've been performing all season. But they're still putting points on the board, and I wouldn't really worry too much when you've got players like Virgil van Dijk, whose level never seems to drop, even if those around them are flagging a little bit.
Yeah, it's interesting when you look at that squad and what they might potentially do with it in the summer. Like, we were just chatting to Andy Mitten about how Manchester United are insulated in terms of the financial impact that might fall on the club. But at the same time, Liverpool are insulated from the fact that this is going to be a short transfer window coming up. You want to be going into this transfer market, or a shortened time between seasons, I should say, but you want to be going into this summer with the best squad possible. And there is still an argument to be made that Liverpool have the best squad possible in the Premier League, despite how good Manchester City have looked in recent weeks. Like, having those tools at your disposal, having a depth chart that looks as good as it currently does for Liverpool, the timing of that couldn't be better, because if they can't get the chequebook out this summer, or don't have the time to get the chequebook out this summer, they're going to be okay.
Yeah, I think that's the feeling as well. This team's still pretty young. Obviously, Virgil van Dijk turned 29 recently, and that is kind of like, he's still got centre-backs go for 36, so he's still got a good 7 years in him. The rest of the squad are around about, a little bit younger. Obviously, the front three, I think they're all aged 28 now, so, they're still in the prime as players, and I feel like we've got now, this recent weeks have shown us that Liverpool have got a brilliant academy system in place, and, players like Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, Nico Williams are all coming through the ranks there. And that Jurgen Klopp mentioned that earlier this week about saving money in the crazy transfer market, because it is crazy, and it's likely to maybe be almost muted this summer because of what's happening financially with the coronavirus. So if Liverpool have got someone like Nico Williams, who played at left back the other night, to fill in, then, do they need to go out and spend 30 million on a left back? Probably not, because, this young lad's come in and he's looking good. So I think Liverpool will look to save money in that way, and they all look like real talents. And I feel like this summer and even last summer, once Liverpool had got their sort of spine of a team together, the signings of Van Dijk, Alisson, Fabinho, those kind of players, I think it was always sort of set up for, I think it was always Klopp's plan for, this will be the team. They'll bring one or two other players in. But now you're looking at Adam Lallana will be leaving, but it's likely that Curtis Jones will maybe fill in the minutes that Adam Lallana had this season, next season. So, I don't think Liverpool necessarily need to go out and splash the cash like, say, Chelsea are doing, because they've got the, probably the best, if not the best team in the world right now. So next season, it feels like they can go again, and then maybe departures happen next summer and different things. Maybe they look to get a little, a couple of transfers in to then go on to the next few seasons. But this definitely feels like, something that's just not going to be next season and wasn't this season and last season. It feels like something that's going to happen for a long time. When Alex Ferguson got United working, you felt like, that was a period of just, dominance. And Liverpool, you feel, are coming into that. Obviously, they've got some very, very good opposition there, but it does feel like such a good time for Liverpool, and Liverpool fans will welcome it.
Yeah, and I think that the neutral fans as well will welcome any challenge to that Liverpool team if we see a bit more of the teeth of, so to speak, both literally and figuratively, of Jurgen Klopp, like we saw after the City game as well. It'll be interesting to see how he reacts to that. But just the impact on the City, Caoimhe, like we saw obviously in the immediate aftermath after clinching the title, the flare into the Liver building. We saw the flare at Dixie Dean during the week as well. Like, is there a tension about that lid that's been kept on people in terms of trying to be able to celebrate like this momentous thing is creating a bit of tension, or were they just a couple of isolated incidents that won't be repeated?
I think you've got a spot on there. I think it's isolated incidents. It's a few bad apples who are just, putting a bad name on an entire fan base, and indeed the city. It's not welcome. No, I've not seen any Liverpool fans welcome that. The scenes were disgusting, and especially earlier this week with Dixie Dean, that's not on. That's not welcome in our city. It's not how we operate. As you well know, Liverpool's one of the friendliest cities in the world. It's so diverse. Stuff like that just isn't welcome here. So, scenes like that, you do feel and hope that they are isolated, but, you just hope going forward now, maybe the reaction to both of those incidents, that people will think about their actions more. And then, because it is a couple of people putting a bad name on a whole fan base and a whole city, and that's not right, is it? So obviously, Liverpool fans want to celebrate, and there will be time for that. So I think they've just got to be patient right now. But it's such a unified city. If you've visited Liverpool, you'll know that, and that's what we want moving forward. We've got two great football teams here and two amazing fan bases. So, hopefully scenes like that aren't repeated, and the people that were responsible for those actions now, have took a long, hard look at themselves and realised, this isn't welcome here.
Okay. One of the most interesting stories around doing the rounds on the back pages this morning is about the possible return of fans to Premier League stadiums and sports stadiums in general in the UK from the middle of September when the season gets back. There'll be masks and various other measures, I'm sure, that'll be in place. It was a bit surprising, I have to say, from our side of the water reading that this morning. Like, we're very much in a very different place, I think, in terms of where the coronavirus is at in society at the minute. And it was even more surprising maybe seeing that it might be a possible thing in the UK soon. Is it surprising to you? Is it an expectation? Is it something that people are talking about, that there's a push on to get fans back in?
Personally, speaking for myself, it worries me a little bit. I wouldn't want fans to go back in the stadium if they're not safe yet. If the numbers come down, the numbers are still high here, and I think if there's no new cases and things like that, then we should start thinking about getting fans back into stadiums. Look, it's something that we all want. Football without fans is nothing, and I think you've seen that watching the games from home. It just even with the crowd of noise effects on, it's still not the same. The crowd even adds so much just for from watching at home. you know, fans are desperate to get back in. Liverpool fans would be having a great time now. You know, they would have had 7 Guard of Honours. That's the most ever. You know, the fastest of 30 wins. They wanted to be there to, you know, to win as well, and to see them players get across the line, and that hasn't been possible. So, you know, it has been hard. But, you know, I think in terms of, obviously, the pubs have reopened and stuff like that, I just think, personally for me, as if things are safe, then start doing that. But the numbers are still up, there's still cases, and you worry about like a second spike and stuff like that. So for me, that's a concern, and I wouldn't want, you know, obviously we know what happened when Atletico Madrid supporters came, and then there was a couple of weeks later there was a spike in Liverpool, and so things like mass gatherings, I think we should still, you know, err caution on the side of them and just see, you know, what's going on. Obviously, you know, if there's so many thousand allowed in and the 2 meters apart or whatever, you know, then that could be a possibility. But it's just such an uncertain time for all of us, isn't it? It has been for the past 4 months now. You know, none of us never knew that this was going to be the way the world would be now. And I think, you know, the most important things is you know, people's lives. You know, football is obviously our passion, but people are much more important. And, you know, I wouldn't like to see more cases on Merseyside and across England and wherever else.
Caoimhe, thanks a million for your time this morning. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Caoimhe O'Neill there of the Liverpool Echo, chatting about Liverpool. They're playing Burnley tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Right, it is 9:24 on this Friday morning. Just a reminder that OTB AM is live in association with Gillette. We don't just play the game, we change it.